Kia ora, good evening. New Zealand guest nights fell 2.2% on the back of a 1.4 rise in August, while in the south they fell 2.4%. Despite the September fall, the trend for national guest nights in short-term commercial accommodation remains at a record high level, according to Statistics New Zealand. Guest nights were up slightly for motels, but fell for holiday parks, hotels and backpacker accommodation. Quad bike manufacturers and distributors, along with federated farmers, support Whangarei coroner Brant Shortland's findings that farmers' safety is compromised when a quad bike is used beyond its capabilities and outside the strict safety guidelines. Distributors say the term ATV or all-terrain vehicle should no longer be used to describe this genre of bike and have concerns about quads being fitted with equipment that may impede a rider's ability to disengage if something goes wrong. Meanwhile, Federated Farmers supports restricting the minimum age of solo riders on full-sized quad bikes to 16 years and promote instalment of reverse gear alarms in a bid to reduce quad bike accidents on the farm. On average, 5 people are killed and 850 injured on quad bikes on farms every year in New Zealand. Creating transparency and openness is behind the Christchurch City Council's recent decision to stream its full council meetings live over the internet. Invercargill Chief Executive Richard King says the concept has been looked at by City Council, but says he believes the demand is not there.
We believe we get better value out of talkback because it's interactive, whereas if you stream, say, council meetings, I'm not sure if there'd be that much interest, and you certainly wouldn't get the quality shots that you would, say, on just live talkback.
Christchurch City Council are looking at it as a way of giving openness and transparency to the way that meetings are conducted and looking at the way decisions are made around particular issues. Do you not see that there would be benefit for that being broadcast over the internet, and it was also kept as a form of archive?
Well, you could say that, but then the public are free to come to the meeting. It's not as if we've got a huge area to cover. Maybe on the, say if you're the Westland District Council and you want to go to a council meeting, you might have to travel, say, quite a huge distance. In Invercargill you don't. The meetings are open to the public anyway, and you also have the reporters there. You could have Q television reporting, as you do, and you have the radio stations and the news media.
It's not always convenient for people to get to meetings, though, and sometimes it's more convenient to watch it in their own time.
Well, that'd be true. Look, we've got an open mind on it. If there was a strong demand for it, I'm sure Council would consider it. But at the moment, we don't appear to have that.
Okay, so would you consider looking at doing a poll to see what sort of interest there might be in looking at having meetings streamed online?
Well, that's an option for the Council, most certainly.
Would you also raise the issue of maybe looking at doing local government elections online next time round?
Well, that'll be a national decision, I think. I think there is growing concern about the poor turnout. I think when we first did postal voting, from memory, we had a 70% turnout, and it's been progressively declining. And a lot of it does depend on the issues. I think this year it was 49%. So there is, and I think Auckland was down below 33%, something like that. So I know the Minister of Local Government is concerned about it, and they're considering introducing online voting for the next elections, subject to suitable safeguards being in place.
Drumming home the message of what's recyclable in the south and what's not was behind today's random yellow bin checks in Riverton. WasteNet staff ran the operation as part of National Recycling Week.
We've checked out about 160 and we've tagged quite a number with with green tags, which mean that there's just something a little bit wrong. It needs to be, we'd like people to do a little bit better on, and we've tagged probably about a dozen red tags which we're not getting picked up. So there's about 12 people that have rubbish that's contaminated enough that we're not wanting it for recycling.
The ones that aren't getting picked up, they will have to dispose of that rubbish within that yellow bin themselves?
Yes, they can put it in their red rubbish bin, and the yellow bin is just for recycling and nothing else, and we want that to be clean, and because otherwise the value of it just reduces dramatically.
In some cases you just have one item which contaminates the recycling. Can you give us some examples about what they might be?
Yes, sometimes there's a small bit of a wild blue meat tray, for instance, that can't be recycled, or a black one. Other times there might be soiled material, and or perhaps paper or cardboard that's soiled, and maybe the wrong sort of plastics too. So there's a few things that we'd like people to take care of. There is a list on the inside of a lid that just shows people exactly what should go in the recycling bin and what shouldn't.
Are there any fines attached to not doing the right thing?
No, there's not. We not at this stage anyway. We might be thinking about that in the future, but at the moment we just reject the bins.
So do you think the education is getting through about what is the correct way to recycle?
Well, we think so. We are improving things a little, and we need to keep on with that, because people forget. 6 months down the track, we're not too sure whether they'll still remember the lessons or not.
Stay with us after the break. The new skate park comes a step closer, and the Southern Scenic Route turns 25. Welcome back. Environment Southland is leading the way in water safety education. In what's thought to be an initiative unique to Southland, the Deputy Harbour Master, Lyndon Cleaver, has been touring Southland primary schools extolling the virtues of safe boating practices. Today, the Deputy Harbour Master, along with his boat, was at Sacred Heart School delivering his water safety message, a message he wants kids to take home with them to their parents.
We're teaching the primary and intermediate children the importance of boating safety and, of course, wearing life jackets.
And how do you go about doing this? You've obviously got to make it interesting for them.
Oh, definitely. I'll make it fun and interactive. So we start off the class by explaining the different types of life jackets, the importance of types of life jackets, for example, not to wear a normal boat life jacket when you're water skiing, for example. And also, if you're wearing a life jacket, that it must fit properly and be of a good visible colour as well.
Your role as Harbour Master, we don't have a harbour down here really, well of course there's Bluff, but you're looking after all waterways?
That's right, looking after the whole Southland region, and it's coastal harbours as you mentioned, and also rivers and lakes as well.
Is this a policy, an Environment Southland policy? Are you getting around a lot of schools?
It's not a policy, but it's a initiative that we picked up last year, and we decided what better way to get the message out there and start at the grassroots level and teach the kids the importance, just like hopping into a vehicle and making sure your seatbelt clicks. And of course the kids will go on to keep their parents honest.
Yes, I was about to say that. It is sometimes the 40-something men in particular that don't like to put a life jacket on, so the message is out to them as well.
Oh, definitely. The 40-something age group tend to be a little bit bulletproof and she'll be right attitude. And of course we're trying to change all that. Southlanders in general are pretty good with wearing life jackets, but it's a continual educational process to make sure that we're getting right across the group.
What are you doing as a Deputy Harbour Master over the summer? Will people see you around those high-profile water spots?
Yes, definitely. Bluff, Lorariti, Lake Tiano will be around there, and I'll normally have staff with me as well, checking boats at the ramps to make sure everybody's wearing life jackets, for example, and they have flares and communications.
Are you noticing things are improving though over recent years, that message is getting through to have those safety devices?
I think so, but as we mentioned earlier, that it is still the 40s age group, and the lakes don't seem to be too bad for the high profile areas, but for example Bluff seems to be a bit of a trouble spot, in particular for wearing of life jackets. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, it's something we're just going to have to work on.
A proposed new skate park for the city has today taken a step closer to becoming a reality, with the City Council leading a tender to design and construct the new facility. The tender has been awarded to Hunter Civil Projects Limited, which will be partnered with Convic. Convic have designed and developed skate parks around the Asia-Pacific region, including the Washington Reserve Skate Park in Christchurch. The existing skate park was opened in 1998 and is considered obsolete by today's standards. The new facility will cater not just to skateboards but also scooters and bikes. Improvements will also include a skate bowl, security fencing, CCTV surveillance cameras and improved lighting. The new skate park development is expected to cost $750,000. The Southern Scenic Route will celebrate its 25th birthday on Sunday the 24th in Tuatapere, the place where it was first conceived in 1988. The popular tourist route was one of the first established in the country and takes travellers through the many significant tourist drawcards in both Southland and Otago. Hunter Andrews spoke to Venture Southland's Nikki Dermody earlier today.
The initiative was actually started up by the locals in Tuatapere community. They got together and came up with the idea that they wanted to encourage more tourists to come through Tuatapere and come down and see Southland. So this was really an idea that they got together and put as an idea to get tourists through, driving through.
It's not the only scenic route, is there, in New Zealand? These are quite common.
Yes, there is other scenic routes in New Zealand, but this is one of the first of New Zealand's touring routes that existed. Back in 1988 it was created, yeah.
Where does the route actually take visitors?
So can start from either Queenstown or Dunedin, but if we're going from, say, Queenstown down through Te Anau and Fiordland, Western Southland, down to Invercargill, Bluff, through the Catlins and then ending in Dunedin.
Is it hard and fast, or are there changes? Has it been an evolving route, if you like? Have things been added to it over the years?
Yes, so when it originally started off, it ended in Te Anau Fiordland area, but we extended to Queenstown, so that's been great, getting some of the tourists that were going to Queenstown to come down to Lower South Island that might have not have otherwise.
Pretty hard to quantify specifically the economic impact on the region, but it would be significant?
Absolutely, yes, and we definitely recognise that it's a key network to link the destinations in the Lower South Island together.
Is there a coordinated sort of marketing package behind the scenic route? Do people all contribute to tourist attractions around it?
Yes, and we work together with the Southern Scenic Route Committee, so there's Dunedin, Tourism Dunedin, Destination Queenstown, Destination Fiordland, Venture Southland and the Clutha RTO, so we work together to make sure that we can market the product together.
And what's planned on the 24th? It's going to be quite a big day in Tuatapere. What can people expect?
Yeah, so on the 24th of November we've got the Southern Scenic Route 25th anniversary celebrations. We've got an awesome day planned with children's entertainment, activities, live music, there'll be fire juggling, there's the offer of jet boat rides and lots more, plus a major prize draw. And
it's actually quite a nice segment of the scenic route getting to Tuatapere from here, from Invercargill.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we're wanting Southlanders, Otago, Queenstown, everyone to come along, drive a day out. It's a great day out, and just get down there and celebrate the 25th anniversary.
And that's it from us. Sport is up next. From the news team, good night.